Hello, I'm Reverend Gregory Toole and bringing you this week's Wednesday Inspiration. Today we're talking about the commitments for conscious relationship. You know, what is it that we have to commit to or that we get to commit to? What is the invitation when we want to be in conscious relationship as opposed to unconscious relationship? What are the things that we're committing to? What are we saying yes to when we enter into conscious relationship? And oftentimes in our world, unconscious relationship, codependent relationships, all kinds of unhealthy relationships pass for conscious relationships, or they pass for, I should say, normal. Right? We just accept, oh, this is just a normal way of being. But let's chat a little bit today briefly about, and I'm going to draw again from the book Conscious Loving by Gay and Kathleen Hendricks, an excellent book on relationships. I've talked about it a couple times on Sundays recently. And by the way, if you want more, I am speaking every Sunday at both Center for Spiritual Living Bakersfield and Center for Spiritual Living Antelope Valley. So you can go to their website, centerforspirituallivingbakersfield.com or centerforspirituallivingAntelopeValley.com. You can also make a contribution at those websites if you are inspired by this message. So let's get into it here. And so from Gay and Katie Hendricks, the 7, as they call, co-commitments are, number 1, I commit myself to being close, and I commit myself to clearing up anything in the way of my ability to do so. So we start off with the very clear intention of being close, and then we say, I'm going to let go of and welcome serenity. I'm so happy that you are tuning in. We say anything that's going to get in the way of me being close to people, I'm going to clean that up. Like my fears, my anxiety about closeness, anything that might be in us that would stop us from being close, like a fear of intimacy, our past, any of that. We start to work on ourselves. We start to observe ourselves. We start to see where, I've observed in myself in the past where, and sometimes in the present, where, in getting close to another person, I feel some discomfort. And it's like, rather than pull away, lean into that and feel into that and see, like, what is that about for me, and what needs to be cleaned up there. So number 1, we commit ourselves to being close, right? So we've got that clear intention, and now we know what we're doing here, because that's what relationship is really all about, right? That we want closeness, we want connection. So we have to clear anything in us that is pushing against that, so that we can now be clear that our intention is to be close. The second one, I commit myself to my own complete development as an individual. Yes. And in the Science of Mind teaching that we offer in Center for Spiritual Living, we are very committed, right, to our own growth and development as an individual, right? We're committed to our path and to expanding, right? In a unconscious relationship, you actually kind of agree with the other person unconsciously that we're going to allow each other to not be committed to our growth, right? Like if you let me get away with my bad habits, I'll let you get away with your bad habits, right? And that seems like a really nice thing, right? Like, wow, we're really nice to each other. But no, that's a commitment to playing small, a commitment to unhappiness, unconscious relationship. In the conscious relationship, we are committed to our own growth. And rather than project things onto the other person when they come up, we look at what's going on inside of me and how am I being called to grow. Third commitment, I commit to revealing myself fully in relationships and to not concealing myself, right? So often, the things that are uncomfortable, right, we start to withhold those things, right? I'm not going to share that, even though that's what's present for us, even though that's what's coming up, even though that's what's really going on with us. Well, how are we going to go back to that number 1 where we're committed to being close if we're hiding, right? And we're withdrawing and we're withholding key aspects of who we are, probably out of fear of not being lovable, right? That's been something for me in my past where it's like, oh boy, if anyone truly knew me and truly got close to me, how could they ever fully accept me? Because of course I wasn't fully accepting myself. right? But to have true closeness, we have to be authentic, we have to be real, and we have to reveal what's going on in us, share what is going on with us, and be honest about that, how we're feeling, what's coming up for us in this moment. And as much as that can be difficult, with practice, like anything else, it starts to become natural and the norm. You know, we start to see like, wow, I don't want to be anything other than authentically who I am. I want to show up authentically. Commitment number 4, I commit to the full empowerment of people around me, right? So not only am I committed to my own growth, but I'm committed to empowering people around me. You know, when people are being successful, when people, I'm helping people to be in their greatest self rather than, you know, being intimidated by, welcome Miriam as well, rather than being intimidated by people growing and succeeding and standing in their magnificence and greatness, which would be sort of the unconscious relationship, right? We don't want our friends to change and to grow and to expand in an unconscious relationship because we feel uncomfortable. But in the conscious relationship, you know, we want people to grow and expand. You know, even if we have a fear they're going to outgrow us, we know that this is something higher. And so we go for it anyway. We support them. We cheer them on. And then we go back to the one that says, I'm committed to my own personal growth and development. And we surround ourselves with people who are committed to our growth and really support us in standing in who we are. Doesn't this sound like conscious relationship? Doesn't this sound like a wonderful invitation into something we would really enjoy in a relationship? Number 4, I commit. Oh, I just said that one. Number 5, I commit to acting from the awareness. This is the key one, from the awareness that I am 100% the source of my reality. This is very much like the science of mind teaching that we offer in Center for Spiritual Living, right? I recognize that I create my reality. I am not a victim, right? I am creating my reality. And even if I am attracting people who abuse me, right? I'm not responsible for what they're doing as abusers. Welcome, Holly. But what I have to look at is, what is it in me that has me continuously attracting people who are verbally or physically or otherwise abusive or don't treat us well, right? We have to own that, right? Because it is us who is deciding who we're going to let into our close space. So we start to, you know, even in arguments and in things that come up in relationship, rather than being the victim, we start to say, what role did I play in creating this? We don't take responsibility for the role that the other person is playing. That's theirs to take on, like their role. But we say, what is my role? What did I contribute to creating this argument or this disharmony or this lack of closeness, you know, and what needs to shift in me? Remember, we're growing, we're learning, we're expanding, and so we're really looking at how can I be the best that I can be so that I can create closeness in my relationships and I can create this rich experience for each of us. And finally, and the Hendricks really talk about this one, I commit to having a good time in my close relationships, right? Because we can think relationships are hard. Oh, relationships are so much work. Well, ultimately, we're really meant to enjoy our relationships, to have fun. So we can't forget that one, right? You know, like we're growing, we're learning, you know, we're taking all of this on in terms of conscious relationship, but the whole purpose, right, is to be close, is to be authentic, is to be real, is to get to be who we are, to allow the other person to be who they are, and all of that so that we can really enjoy our relationships. They can be fulfilling, right? They can be uplifting. We can be excited about being not just in our intimate relationships, but all of our close relationships, family, friends, what have you. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today, and the invitation is to go for it, right? To set the intention that I want to be in conscious relationship. I don't want to do the status quo anymore, where I'm in these codependent, unconscious relationships, just supporting myself and staying in my bad habits. I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to be fully expressed and allow others to be fully expressed as well. How does that invitation sound? I hope it sounds great, and I know that you are having these great, fulfilling relationships. Thanks for tuning in. Peace and blessings.